Hello, listeners, and thank you for tuning in to the Inkwell Podcast, the program that aims to add a personal touch to the Black Pill discussion. Today, I wish to touch upon the idea of coping, like why it's important and what I do to make the struggle easier for myself. Hopefully, I can provide some information you can use to choose healthier coping strategies if you don't already have some, that is. To establish a baseline, coping is essentially the act of performing certain actions in order to make a given living situation more tolerable. Examples include, but aren't limited to, video games, picking up new hobbies, or more harmful alternatives like substances and various forms of self harming behavior. The act of coping on its own is not necessarily bad, as it is meant to ease your pain. However, it is important to note that there are two different types of coping: conscious, which means you know you are coping with a bad situation, and unconscious, which means you aren't aware of your own coping strategies. The latter is far more dangerous in my opinion, as it can serve as a segue into destructive behavior but also lack of awareness, essentially meaning you are powerless to fix whatever it is you are doing wrong because you simply don't know otherwise. There is also the form of cope that acts as a form of delusion. Holding off base beliefs in an attempt to cope, otherwise known as lying to yourself, can and likely will have detrimental effects down the line. When you sit on a high throne of lies, the inevitable fall down will only add to your suffering, as you then need to build back up by scratch, when that time could have been better utilized elsewhere. One such delusion, for example, is saying, I didn't want a woman anyway. If that were true, you wouldn't be here. Simply ignoring women would not work that well in practice, not from a red pill or black pill perspective, for a couple reasons. Women will not be magically attracted to you, since the prerequisite demands that women be interested in you at all, something that inkwells by definition struggle with. You also cannot completely suppress biological imperative, respectively. In short, you cannot completely ignore women and expect it to bring favorable results, and yet trying to talk to women often results in you either being completely ignored or treated with outright disgust. Basically, there is no real way to win as an inkwell. So, how do you cope with this? I personally pursue hobbies, which include creating these podcast episodes, video games, amateur radio, and learning French. My general rule for coping strategies is that they must be fun and/or constructive. Avoid copes that involve drugs or violence, as that will only make your life even harder than it already is. If it is at all possible, make friends. I find online friends are a great solution, as not everyone is in the proper area/position in life to make IRL friends. That, and discussing inkweldom or black pill concepts in person, can lead to scrutiny you just don't need, not for something like this. This may seem obvious, but these things must be stressed. That, and I want to explain in detail what I'm all about so that you guys know what to expect from me. Thank you for listening. Email me or message my public Discord account, both of which can be found on the upper left-hand corner of the video screen. This is Cloud from Mamoon 3.0, and I bid you all farewell.